Bermuda Triangle, called even Devil's Triangle, Hurricane Alley, Graveyard of the Atlantic, Limbo of the Lost, etc., is located between Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda Island. In this 500,000 miles square, over 8,000 souls have been lost, more than 300 ships and over 75 aircraft have been disappeared to never be seen again. The stories around Bermuda have been started since the Christopher Columbus days, and even nowadays vessels and planes keep disappearing in this area. Let's go through years, and see some of the most baffling disappearances on Bermuda Triangle. On January 30, 1948, a British Avro Tudor plane dubbed Star Tiger vanished in the Bermuda Triangle without a trace. Star Tiger was one of 3 enlarged and improved versions of the Avro Tudor, designated Tudor 4. It had made 11 transatlantic flights, a total of 575 hours flying time, since its initial test flight on November 4, 1947. On the morning of January 28, 1948, the crew and passengers boarded Star Tiger at Lisbon, only to be forced to return to the airport waiting room, when the pilot told them that the port inner engine needed some attention. Star Tiger took off at 15:34 and soon after takeoff was lashed by heavy rain and strong winds. At about 2 o'clock Cyril Ellison, Star Tiger's navigator, fixed the aircraft's position and learned that they too had been blown off course, and were crabbing away from Bermuda. He gave to Captain Macmillan a new course which turned the aircraft directly into a gale. However, Macmillan still expected to reach Bermuda with at least an hour's worth of fuel remaining upon landing. At 3 o'clock Captain Griffin aboard the Lancastrian amended his ETA from 3:56 to 5 o'clock, and called Star Tiger. Griffin later testified that he heard nothing from Star Tiger to indicate that it was in trouble, and that from then until he touched down at 4:11 his own aircraft encountered no turbulence, icing, fog or electrical storms. The U.S. Air Force immediately organized a rescue effort that lasted for 5 days despite worsening weather. 26 aircraft flew 882 hours in total, and surface craft also conducted a search, but no signs of Star Tiger or her 31 passengers and crew were ever found. On February 1, 1948, a B-17 search plane reported sighting several boxes and an oil drum 325 miles northwest of Bermuda. It is unknown if this flotsam was connected to. In December 28, 1948, Douglas DC-3 NC-16002, commercial flight vanished over the triangle with 29 passengers and 2 crew members headed toward Miami. The last contact was 50 miles before reaching the city. The plane's captain, Robert Lindquist, radioed the Miami airport for landing instructions. But then the plane disappeared to never be seen again. According to an investigation by the Civil Aeronautics Board, the plane had electrical difficulties and low battery power. But this statement didn't stop many blaming the Bermuda Triangle. 1 year later, in January 17, 1949, Avro Tudor Jaeger plane dubbed Star Ariel departed from Bermuda to Kingston, Jamaica. About an hour into the flight, the captain contacted by radio. I departed from Kindley Field at 8:41 a.m. hours. My ETA at Kingston 2:10 p.m. hours. I am flying in good visibility at 18,000 feet. I flew over 150 miles south of Kindley Field at 9:32 hours. My ETA at 30 degrees north is 9:37 hours. Will you accept control? And then at 9:42. I was over 30 degrees north at 9:37. I am changing frequency to MRX. But after this contact, everything went silent. Another strange occurrence happened on September 26, 1955. A pleasure yacht, the Connemara IV, was found floating in the Bermuda Triangle. The entire crew was missing. The yacht had survived 3 hurricanes at sea. There was no trace of a crew or any distress on board. It was like the passengers and crew had vanished. This aircraft was originally built as TB-50H bow training aircraft, but later converted to KB-50K aerial refueling aircraft. On January 8, 1962, pilot Robert Tawney took off from Langley AFB for the Azores. Around 1 p.m. a transmission was heard from the aircraft about 240 miles off the east coast, but never came a report or disturbance on radio. By 7 p.m. a search was started for the missing aircraft. An oil slick was found about 300 miles off the U.S. coast, but it is unknown if that came from the missing aircraft. On February 3, 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a 523-foot tanker ship carrying 39 passengers and 15,260 tons of molten sulfur, was last seen 230 miles southeast of New Orleans. She was last heard from on February 4, when she was in rough, nearly following seas of 16 feet, with northerly winds of 25 to 46 knots, and listed as missing 2 days later. After more than 2 weeks of looking, the rescue team only found a few pieces of debris and life preservers. An investigation launched by the Coast Guard shortly after the disappearance suggested 4 causes of the disaster, and determined that the ship was unsafe and not seaworthy. There remains to this day the unexplained loss of 2 big KC-135 jet Stratotankers in the Bermuda Triangle. They had departed Homestead AFB, Florida, south of Miami, on August 28, 1963, for a refueling mission. This went off without a hitch. On their return, they were ascending to 36,000 feet and 35,500 feet respectively. At 12:20 the B-47S lost visual contact with them after entering cloud level, to continue on their course. Both planes had gone down, in excellent weather, without uttering any word over the radio, no matter how terse, to alert anyone. However, at 1:57 p.m., Oceanic Air Control informed Homestead that the planes were overdue for contact. It just seems inconceivable under normal circumstances that the airplanes could have collided after maintaining an initial 500-foot formation separation. It's June 9, 1965. The flying Boxcar arrived at Homestead AFB at 17:04, and was prepared for a flight to Grand Turk. It then took off at 1947 with 4 additional mechanics who were to fix the engine of a C-119 stranded on Grand Turk. The airplane never arrived at the destination and was declared missing. The last radio call came from just north of Crooked Island and 177 miles from Grand Turk Island. The Coast Guard conducted an extensive 5-day search, covering about 77,000 square miles per day. Nothing was found. On July 18, 1965, debris from the missing plane was found on beach of Gold Rock Cay, just off the northeast shore of Acklins Island. On December 22, 1967, a cabin cruiser named Witchcraft left from Miami with her captain Dan Burak and his friend, Father Patrick Horgan. The Witchcraft was a full-equipped 23-foot luxury yacht. However, after reaching just 1 mile from offshore, the Coast Guard received a call from the captain, stating that his ship had hit something but there was no substantial damage. Indicating help to be towed to the shore, the Coast Guard set off immediately, reaching Witchcraft in as many as 19 minutes alone, but to nothing. The area indicating the location of the ship was completely deserted, with no signs of any ship having been stranded or even present there previously. What's most intriguing about this story is that this particular cruiser was virtually unsinkable, not to mention that numerous life-saving devices present aboard, including life jackets, lifeboats, flares, distress signal devices, etc. None of them was used and the ship was gone. The Coast Guard officials searched hundreds of square miles of ocean over the next few days, but were unsuccessful. Nothing of this ship has been found until this day. The ship is gone and what remains is only the speculation that on August 4, 1969, the station was discovered to have been abandoned by its two keepers, who were never found. Many believers in the Bermuda Triangle claim that the keepers were two more victims lost to its mysterious forces. However, the hurricane record from 1969 indicates that Hurricane Anna, the first hurricane of 1969, on 1 to 2 August, passed close enough to Great Isaac Island to cause dangerous weather for the tiny rock island. By the 4th of August, the hurricane was well into the Atlantic Ocean. On October 18, 1976, the people on the 590-foot cargo ship Sylvia L. Ossa became victims of the Triangle's mysteries, when the ship suddenly disappeared with 37 people on board. Though debris including life preserver and a lifeboat was found, the ship itself was never again detected. The Coast Guard is reportedly still looking for clues to what happened to the massive ship. On November 3, 1978, Irving Rivers left St. Croix in a Piper Navajo he was piloting for Eastern Caribbean Airways to St. Thomas to pick up passengers. Soon after, another plane made a planned departure. The controller found he could no longer see the plane's lights. It had disappeared from the radar. An emergency search effort was launched, but nothing was ever found, even though the flight was only 1 mile from landing. November 5, 1991. The last known contact with the pilot of a Grumman Cougar jet occurred when he made a routine radio request as he was ascending. He gave his altitude of 29,000 feet, and the aircraft just faded until it disappeared from radar. The Questa Files reports, one sweep of the scope they were there. The next, raised brows on traffic controllers, it was blank. There were no blips on the radar showing debris falling to the ocean, and no debris in the ocean was ever found. On September 14, 1999, the National Tsinghua University Department of Computer Science featured an article on the Bermuda Triangle highlighting the disappearance of the freighter, Genesis. The freighter sailed out of the port of Spain heading towards St. Vincent. The 465-ton cargo consisted of water tanks, bricks, and concrete slabs. A distress call received by a vessel sailing nearby reported the freighter was having problems with the bilge pump. The U.S. Coast Guard search covered 33,000 square miles. After the call for help, the ship and crew were never seen or heard from again. On June 18, 2003, Frank and Romina Leone left Boynton Beach Inlet, Florida in their recently purchased 16-foot boat. The couple planned for a fun day excursion of fishing. They were never heard from again. Both the couple and the boat disappeared. The couple was fondly remembered in a June 24, 2003, on Sun Sentinel article. The Leones launched their boat on a Wednesday afternoon, and when they each failed to show for their jobs in West Palm Beach, co-workers, friends, and family feared the worst. Early Friday morning, the Coast Guard launched a rescue mission and covered over 35,700 square miles ranging from Miami to Savannah, Georgia. The search was called off around 6 p.m. the following Monday. On December 15, 2008, a Britten Norman Islander vanished near the Windward Islands with 11 passengers aboard. Aviation Safety Network noted the pilot reported an emergency to Providencial's ATC, Turks and Caicos Islands. It is assumed the airplane probably crashed into the sea shortly after the distress call. The Asociación Nacional de Pilotos stated that the pilot's license had been suspended in October of 2006. The Sun, in its October 21, 2016 article, states the plane began to ascend 35 minutes after takeoff and simply went off radar. These are two very different reports about the same disappearance.